Is this the forward to slide?
Yeah, and that's still going to be the laser if you want to laser that like little.
Oh, okay.
And if you want your recording to record, I think it's picking up from the computer. So if you walk too far from the computer, it's probably not going to record your voice.
Okay.
Just record everyone unless they tell us don't.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get started again. Welcome, Dr. Laurie Raymundo.
Thank you. So I'm from Guam. There's several talks from Guam that will be here, and this is to kind of introduce our restoration efforts. We came very late to the game, and basically we came because we had a 5-year period when the global world was going through the bleaching episode in 2016, 2017. Ours started in 2013. So just to let you, give you a little bit of background, since you may not know, that's Guam up in the corner. It's about a 200 square mile island and southernmost in the arc of the Marianas Archipelago. We're right outside the the Coral Triangle, global center of diversity. We've got over 500 putative species, but I was very heartened to see that the woman who just talked before us talked about the Phoenix project. So we have an unknown amount of local endemism. We have names for things, but we're really not sure what they are, and we're trying to get those things sorted out. So it's likely to be a lot more species than that. We have the normal big number of stressors. We have the big 3, we have the big 5, and more recently we have climate change. So between 2013 and 2017, we lost an estimated 34% of our coral cover. We had successive bleaching episodes. We had a year-long period of extreme low tides that were ENSO related. And we had, by the time 2016 hit, periodic disease outbreaks. So we lost a lot. And we were left reeling. We were unprepared for this. And obviously, the first thing we thought was, what can we do about this? So in thinking about restoration, we thought first, well, just to wrap our brains around how much we lost and where do we start, we thought staghorn Acropora would be a good idea. They're locally in essential fish habitat. They're essential for our tourism. They're accessible, and we can actually figure out where they are. And another major issue was our repetitive and ongoing crown of thorns outbreaks, and they don't usually actually hit our staghorn habitats, a small grace there. So our restoration goal was to figure out how much we still had left and to figure out what the extirpation risk was for the 8 species of corals that we have, and to try to do something about this drastic reduction in cover. So pre-2013, we estimated 33 hectares. By the time we got to 2021, when we actually completed our surveys, we had about 13.5 hectares. So we lost a lot. So I'm just kind of going to give you an overview of our overall restoration project, and then I'm going to leave it to the people on the ground that are going to come after me to talk about some of our preliminary data. So we've got 2 nurseries, and we decided to spread the risk of, well, to reduce the risk of possible destruction from storms, because we're also in the typhoon belt. We have them in 2 separate locations. We have a variety of structures, as you can see. We're very much kind of in the pilot study, seeing what works and learning a lot. Thank you very much from the Caribbean practitioners who have already been through a lot of these growth spurts and have taught us a lot of lessons. So we're very grateful, and a shout out to all of the Caribbean folks. So let me see. We have 8 species that we know of. We may have more. We've got all 8, as far as we can tell, in the nurseries, and we've spread them between both nurseries. We have deposited fragments with and tissue with the Phoenix project in hopes that we can resolve some of our questions about names, taxonomy, and phylogeny. And We've got about 3,000 fragments from 10 surviving populations. We're hoping to get a few more, but we've got good representation with as much physical distance as possible to try to capture as much diversity as we can. And we are maintaining them in the nursery. Upcoming talk, we'll talk about how they're growing differentially in two very different nursery settings and how those nurseries differ. And we are outplanting currently to 3 sites. And rather than try to replace corals that have died in sites that obviously are not capable of supporting them, we are trying to focus on planting them in places where we think they're going to do well. So we've got 2,500 fragments planted to date, covering about 1.7 acres. We've got 6 of the 8 species. We've got things sampled for genotyping, and we're monitoring how they're doing in the field, which includes a variety of metrics that my colleague will talk about after that. So we're also looking at fish, and interestingly, we're seeing some significant differences in the fish populations that are recruiting. We want them to try to recruit and develop communities similar to what we've got in our reference good site areas, and it looks like they're starting to do that. So, thank you muchly.
Time for a question.
Yes.
Thanks, Laurie.
Sure.
Continued over our lunch conversation.
Yes. Which was truncated.